Season 1 of Andor has dropped, and it is a bit controversial. Some people like it, and some people don't like it. In this video, I'll be giving my review and thoughts for Season 1 of Andor. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, let's talk about the good stuff in this show, such as the story. The story in the show is very good, and it goes from Andor trying to find his sister, to him moving on from his past and looking ahead at the future with the rebellion, and finding hope and a purpose in life. He saw that the Empire for who they truly were, and he didn't like them. He goes from being a gun for hire to bringing hope to those who have none. He inspired his mom to rebel against the Empire with her good speech in the finale. At the end of the season, Andor is no longer interested in money, but he wants to see the Empire fall and joins the rebellion for the cause after seeing what the Empire is truly like when he was in prison. It is a great story for Andor, who is just a random intriguing character in Rogue One. Another great part from this show are the characters. All of these characters seem to have some sort of meaning and good character development, even those who just die off a few episodes later. It gives meaning for their death, and the writers are not afraid to kill someone off. There's basically no plot armor, and that is great. It makes the show unpredictable, and there's not just one main character who's invincible, but he still can die, even though we know he won't. The secondary characters are very interesting, especially Luthen. Luthen is one of my favorite characters in this show because of his mysterious nature. We don't know much about him, yet he is so powerful in some ways, and it'd be very interesting to see more of him in Season 2 and to learn what his origins are. Mon Mothma is another great character in this show, that we can really see the conflict inside of her. We see the sacrifices she makes between her family and the rebellion, and what the rebellion costs. Each character makes sacrifices for the rebellion. Andor's mother is a great character as well, and we see her rebel against the Empire, which leads to Ferrix rebelling against the Empire and freeing their planet from Imperial rule. Her speech at the end of the season was very good and very inspiring. Of course, there's also Andor to talk about. He starts off trying to look for his dead sister. He is lost and has not much meaning to life. He makes a mistake by killing 2 guards, and everything else escalates to him joining a band of rebels to rob an Imperial bank. This leads him to eventually being in prison and seeing what the Empire is really like, and that leads him to join with Luthen to fight against the Empire. The writing of the story and characters are good, original, and not lazy. The last main good part of this show is the directing. The scenery, the angles, the music, and the overall tone are great. It is easy to tell that the directors knew what they were doing, and there are no stupid moments like in other TV shows. It is serious, and the music helps to amplify that. The use of the stormtroopers and the TIE fighters are also really good, showing that they are feared throughout the galaxy. When they are on screen, it is great, and we get that serious feeling. They are somewhat accurate, yet not as good or as fast as clone troopers or death troopers. The stormtroopers command a great presence, and it is well done. The scenery that we got at the end of episode 6 with the TIE fighters and the Eye was really well done. The TIE fighters really shine through that episode. The story, characters, and tones were definitely the best part of the show. But now on to the things I didn't like about the show. First off, the pacing was a bit slow. There are a few times, like episodes 4 and 5, that could have easily been mushed together without feeling rushed. This could have been an 8-episode series, with the first 3 episodes being placed together into one big episode, just like they did for the Bad Batch. This would have made it a bit more interesting. But nonetheless, it is better than a show being completely rushed or drawn out. Another thing that I disliked was the lack of action at some times. I would have expected the Andor show to have a bit more action in it. The action we had was limited, and sometimes it was really good. Maybe it is because of the partial lack of action that the action that we did get was good, but still, it would have been good to have a bit more action. I do think that Season 2 will have a lot more action, as the base of the story and some of the character development is already there. If the pacing was a bit better, it could have made it seem like there was a bit more action as well. And Season 2 will be drawn out 3 episodes per Star Wars year, so that will make it a bit more condensed, with most likely a bit more action. One last thing that negatively impacts this show is the character choice and the connection to the overall story. Even though I liked most of these characters, there's a lack of presence in the Force and overall connection to the main characters and story of Star Wars. There's not any talk of the Jedi or Sith or the Force, and those are the main parts of Star Wars. If the Obi-Wan show had this kind of writing and directing, it would be much better than the Andor show, thanks to the overall characters. But there are still some connections to the Star Wars universe, with us seeing the start of the rebellion, the ruthlessness of the Empire, and how the Empire got the materials for the construction of the Death Star. Overall, with everything good and bad to say about this show, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Now, if this wasn't in the Star Wars universe, I'd probably give it a 9.5, as the storytelling and characters are really good. But when it comes to Star Wars with that Star Wars feeling, the Force, the Jedi, I'm giving it an 8.5, since it lacks in those areas, which really does make Star Wars Star Wars. It's great to see good storytelling though, without the need of useless cameos. This show did nothing wrong for Star Wars, like how the sequels treated Luke, and how the Book of Boba Fett treated Boba. It is a good story with good characters about the start of the rebellion. Is it necessary? No. But is it good and I'm happy to have it here? Yes. I think it is the best live-action Star Wars show after The Mandalorian. This was a good show that I enjoyed, especially after the season finale, bringing everything full circle. But that is enough for me. Let me know what you guys think of Andor in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe to the channel to not miss out on any new videos. But apart from that, have a great day.